Hi friends, welcome to today's video. Today we'll be going through my Inktober 2023 adventure where I drew a story based around a short comic that I'll be releasing soon. And yeah, so I'll just be going through all the prompts and stuff. So yeah, see you there. Alright. So let's get started. This is the sketchbook I used. I used just a A5 Moleskine, and yeah, this isn't a brand new sketchbook. I've been doing some random sketches in here and some previous Inktober attempts, but I'll get to that in a different video. All right. So the first one was called Dream, and my idea here was that the courier is in cryogenic fugue. And he is busy making a long journey to one of his delivery, well, to complete one of his deliveries. So yeah, a bunch of cooling pipes and liquid nitrogen and stuff like that to keep him in a stasis. But this one, I was pretty happy with this one, but I think it was alright. The first one in Inktober is always a bit tricky. Okay, so the next one was done in landscape. And yeah, this one came out pretty cool. The word was spider, so I decided to have the courier test the spider bot that he is delivering to a client, doing some diagnostics and using a toolbox. This is inside his ship. Well, that was the plan. Right, then the next one is Path. So for Path, I thought it would be cool if he is in his cockpit of his ship and he's navigating, finding a path through the asteroid field, because it looks pretty dangerous, and a little sweat drop here there just to indicate that he's stressing a little bit. All of these pipes and designs came out really nice. A little Hawaiian figure there and some license plates. I thought that was interesting. I kind of like how this one came out. All right, next one was Dodge. This ship design, I found it somewhere online, AI image or something. It's all right, but I refined it later, you'll see. And these are the little drones he has to dodge because they want to attack him. Kind of like how this one came out, but I don't like the ship design that much. All right, next one, probably my least favorite, is Map. I wanted to make it feel like he's in this big room with this holographic map. And I found this design online that I sort of used, but it turned out to be a very tricky perspective, so it took me longer than I expected. So to finish in time, I didn't really focus on the rendering much. I just made this big sort of space with him and the galaxy map. It's not the best, but I think it gets the word across, or the idea across. All right, next was Golden. I didn't really know what to do here, so I decided to just go with the idea that he is shipping some golden artifacts to a client that's in this container. Also found this design on Pinterest. Been using a Pinterest quite a lot just to save time on designs. Okay, the next one was Drip. I do have a process video of this on YouTube. This one, I wanted it to feel very tight and sort of messy inside the ship's bowels. The bowels of the ship, you know. So all these pipes and cables and stuff, I got some mechanical reference on Pinterest, and I tried to use that in this wrench, and I think it came out alright. It's a bit of busy, but it's pretty cool, I think. This was a really tricky pose. Alright, next one is Toad. So obviously I had to do some alien toad species because that's how it works in sci-fi. So I had this big alien guy I found this suit design sort of on Pinterest, and I just wanted to make the courier deliver an egg to him on this mushroom planet. I didn't have time to do a whole background because this was a really fast one, but I think it came out all right. I could add some large mushrooms here at the back, but didn't have time for that. Okay. Then next up is Bounce. Bounce came out actually pretty cool, I think. I wanted to have this idea that obviously this whole Inktober was to tell the story of the courier and him doing his deliveries to promote the comic. And this was one where he is making a delivery on a moon settlement, and you're looking out from inside his ship. So this is the window and the inside of his ship. I used one of my Star Wars books for reference. This one. Incredible cross sections. I do have the one from episode 1 was the original one, and then I found this one online. Really cool. You can see it has all these little details of the ship, and it's really nice to use as a reference for your ship designs. This helped me quite a lot whenever I was doing some sci-fi design. But I'll go through all my comic books in a separate video. I've got a lot of them. I like collecting comic books. All right, so yeah, that was Bounce. And then next up, this one was a tricky prompt, Fortune. I didn't really know what to do here. So after a long time thinking about it, I went with Fortune, where he has to, or he's trying to replace his heart or fix his heart because he's got heart problems. That's why he's wearing this whole suit with the pipe and the heart thing like Darth Vader. And now he's trying to get it sort of, chop shop or a ripper dock like in Cyberpunk. Trying to get it fixed, and the price is still pretty high. So that's why he still has to work. And yeah, I wanted to make it feel like it's in this grungy cyberpunk world. There's a car back there, and it's all these cables and dirty needles and stuff. I don't know if it came out like that, but I think it was alright. I almost gave up halfway through this because of all this detail, but I just decided to tank through. And this one did pretty well on socials actually. All right, next up is Wonder. Wonder, there was a lot of options, but I decided to go with a desert planet theme. Hint, hint, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so Tatooine-ish vibes. So I've also found this design on just these houses, the design I found on Pinterest, and then I used that to sort of build this world. And the courier, I wanted to have him carry this bigger sort of life support system because his oxygen won't hold if he's walking that far. And then some kind of parcel that he's carrying with him. And he's sort of on the top of this valley. Yeah, Wonder. I kind of like this one. Then probably a very tricky prompt for me was Spicy, because in sci-fi I didn't really know how to do that. And he doesn't really have a face or a mouth yet. So it was very tricky. But I just decided to go with him in the ship's kitchen, using some kind of, or making some kind of meal from expired shipments or something like that. So I tried to do the little chili here. But yeah, it came out all right. I think for this is one of the more simpler designs for, with Inktober you have to balance. Some of them you can go pretty crazy. Other days you have to take it more simple, just because if you want to keep to that whole 31-day challenge, if you have other projects you have to complete, you can't do everything massive or large, big scale. You have to tone it down a little bit. All right, that was Spicy. Next up was Rise. This one, I had this idea of a ship taking off, but I didn't really know how to do it. So this one, I didn't use any reference. I just went crazy. I think it came out all right. I did draw some perspective lines, and this I tried to make it a bit darker to make it feel like it's in the foreground. The ship, it feels a bit skew, but I didn't really have a design reference for the bottom of the ship, so I had to sort of wing it. I think it came out all right. It still looks like a ship, sort of, the same one as in Dodge. But yeah, like I said, I think I said in the prompt, I don't like the ship. I'm going to destroy it in the next few prompts. And I did end up doing that. Okay, so that was Rise. Okay, the next one is a combined prompt from Inktober and Necktober, which is Castle and Spike, or Spikes. So these guys are from the Warhammer 40k universe. They live on the ash wastes on that planet. And I decided to make a sort of a fortified spike castle that they are protecting. And they have the courier deliver this strange shipment because he's the only guy. He's the only guy who can do it. It's a pretty difficult shipment. There's a bunch of mercenaries and stuff running around. So this one came out pretty cool. I like it. It's a bit busy. I probably should have put another ink wash on this one, but I think it came out all right. I think his gun looks pretty cool. Okay, this one, Dagger. So Dagger, obviously I wanted to do something with action because Dagger, pretty cool. So I had him have this shipment of an egg or a lizard egg that he's collecting from a lizard planet or something. And then this lizard mercenary is trying to get it back and they're sort of fighting. I had this idea for this dynamic pose from the beginning, but this was really tricky to get his pose. It was his arm and it was a bit tricky, but I think it came out all right. I think I should have tilted the knife though. It feels a bit strange, but overall pretty happy. All right, then the next one was Angel, and this one is in landscape again. This one was pretty tricky. Just because I didn't really know what to do with Angel. I wanted to do him encountering some kind of angel species, but instead I just went with designing some ships. So this first ship was a little bit of a rip-off of a design Jake Parker did. I did add some extra elements, and obviously I did my own perspective. But I think it came out pretty cool. This is the idea is that this ship is called the Angel and it's really fast and it's one of the ships that the courier has been eyeing, but he doesn't have the money. Okay. All right. So then the next one actually is also in landscape. It is Demon. For Demon, I actually did another ship design. This one I pretty much did on my own. The only thing is I did the layout or the perspective I copied also from Jake Parker and his Spaceships book. I'll share a link to that in the description. So this ship the idea was Demon. It's very dangerous. It's very patrol. It's sort of a pirate ship. It's very, don't want to get close to it. All these guns and lasers and stuff. Came out pretty cool. All right. Then the next one is called Saddle, or Saddle was the prompt. And this one I had no idea what to do. So going in, I decided I wanted to do a dinosaur. It's time for a dinosaur. And then I decided, let's add some technology to it, maybe, because I first drew him on a bunch of stairs, but I decided to add some robot things. So a cherry picker, that's this thing. This is actually a standard design. You can just find it on Google. And he's getting on the saddle. He's got the shipment he has to do, and he has to get on a dinosaur because no other machine can get him across this sort of desert that he has to go to deliver his shipment. Yeah, I think it came out pretty cool. I really like this one. All right, the next one was Plump. Once again, the prompts were difficult this year. Plump, I didn't really know. It's not a word, in my home language of my mother tongue, Afrikaans. I don't really use it that much, so I had to think outside of the box. So I went with these plump jellyfish. I don't know if they look that plump. I should have made them a bit fatter probably, but I wanted to also draw like a brain, you know, something really old school sci-fi. So I drew this, and then I wanted him like chasing away from it because it's pretty creepy. This is my first time trying speed lines. So I think I could have gone a bit thicker or added more, but it came out alright. Also probably should have added. It's a bit tricky, you know, only having 3 tones, but I think it came out pretty cool. He's delivering a shipment on this strange sort of hover cart, and these jellyfish are chasing him. Yeah, Plump. Okay, this one, Frost. This one was pretty easy. I just went with in my comfort zone, drawing the character and drawing some mountains and some frost sort of setting. He's got a more of a frost suit on and a staff to help him get through this. I did make a mistake over there, but yeah, fixed it. But yeah, I really like how this design looks. It's a bit of a more winter suit. This is inspired by the Hoth Stormtroopers, or the Winter Stormtrooper outfit. Yeah, Frost, pretty cool. By this date, I was pretty far behind. I was about 2 or 3 days behind, so I had to do a really quick design here to catch up. So this one was chains. I went with, you know, this is a, what do you call it? A slog or something from Abe's Odyssey. I just went with that design, just added some chains, and just the idea was that the courier has these creatures, he ships them for clients and they are really dangerous, so he chains them up. He had an incident where one almost bit his leg off. So that was this one. Not really, I wanted to do something cool, but I didn't have the time, so I just went with something basic. This one did actually really well, strangely enough. It's my least favorite, but yeah, chains. Okay, this one, I decided to put in a bit more effort in with the next one. So this one was Scratchy. So I went with some, you know, cacti in a sort of a desert rocky landscape. And he has this one cactus that he has to collect the flowers for a client. So yeah, his suit's all scratched up, and I had a lot of ink bleed over here, so I had to keep on fixing it. So yeah, but I like how this one came out. I think I could have spent more time darkening this over here, but yeah, it came out pretty cool. That's the container. They put the cactus in, or the flowers in, and yeah, obviously couldn't land his ship here because there's so many cacti and rocks and stuff. Okay, the next one was Celestial. I had no idea what to draw here. I wanted to do him finding some mystical celestial being in space, but I also didn't have a lot of time left. I was still behind at this time. So I just went with a Marvel Celestial design. And I also decided it's time to crash the ship because I was running out of prompts. So I made it that the Celestial made him crash his ship, or something happened. He bumped into a Celestial or something, and then he's escaping on a speeder on this planet. Yeah, Celestial. I think it came out all right. Once again, I have to practice speed lines, but I think it came out cool. Next one, Shallow. This one was a bit tricky. I didn't really know what to do, so I didn't decide to go with a whole mini arc story within Inktober. But then when I decided on Shallow, I decided to make it sort of this little story arc that's happening at the end of Inktober. So yeah, he's basically got off his speeder from the previous one, that one, and then he found this little water pool. He's trying to get something to eat. It's like, you can see it's a desert. There's nothing. Those are dunes. This was tricky. Actually, when I thought back, I wanted to make it more, you know, flat, that you're looking down. This doesn't really make sense, this perspective. But yeah, once again, I had to hurry up. I was behind. So he's sitting here trying to get some food in a shallow pool of water. Okay, this one I went a bit above and beyond. This one is called Dangerous. So for this one, he on the same, he's still on the desert planet, and he found this junkyard with this big these dangerous guards standing outside, and these big, dangerous electric fence and barbed wire and stuff. So he obviously doesn't have any money now because everything was on his ship. So he's trying to get something. He's an ethical guy, he doesn't want to steal. So he's trying to steal from the junkyard. And there's a ship lying over there. This one, I realized after starting that I need to add a lot of detail for it to make sense. But luckily, I used to do a lot of these fine detailed portraits inspired by COURIER, who I also linked him below. And so I have some experience in drawing, a lot of small detailed stuff. So that's where this came in handy. And yeah, there's the courier over there, trying to get to the junkyard. All right, the next one was remove. So this one, he got into the junkyard, and then he got onto the ship, but there were all these power leeches on. This was a really difficult pose. I wanted to have it really feel like he has to rip this thing off the cockpit or the machines. There's the seat, and there's the controller or the steering wheel. All this electricity, but all the electricity coming off the power lead. It was a lot of fun to draw. Drawing these mountains just so you can get a feel that he's still on that planet. He's still in the junkyard. And yeah, this was very tricky, but I think it came out all right. The next one was a combination post because I wasn't going to make it. I had to do one of these posts combined, 2 prompts in one. I didn't really want to, but I didn't have a choice. I wouldn't have made the deadline. So this one is Beast and Sparkle. So I decided to create a large lizard, which is made of these sparkly crystals. And then the idea was that the courier, he'd just gotten all the power leeches out of the ship, and then he fixed it a little bit, got some parts from the junkyard, fixed up the ship, and then he launched, but then there wasn't a power or a hypercrystal in the, or it was damaged in the ship. So he crashed just a little ways off in the dune sea. And that's this. He's on a dune here, crashed, and he got out trying to fix it, but then he saw this massive lizard over there, beast. And so obviously it feels a bit dangerous, but yeah, I like it, but I don't know. Anyway, Beast and Sparkle. Okay, so the next one I kept on going with the story. So the idea was, the word was massive. So I wanted to have this idea that there's this massive crystal that the courier is cutting down. And actually the story or the idea was that the lizard is a friendly lizard and he can commune, telepathically or whatever. And he told the courier that, he has these crystals on his back, and inside the crystal there's these refined or sort of condensed hypercrystals. So he told him that he can get one if he can just get access. So he found this mech on the ship and he's cutting out a hypercrystal. Very dynamic or sort of scrunched up composition, this big crystal here and the mech and everything. But yeah, I tried to push myself during Inktober, and I think this one was a good example. All right. Another landscape one. This one was Rush. So I went with this one. The idea was that he got the hypercrystal out, but it was very unstable. So it was going to crumble or explode or whatever. So that was the idea, with the smoke coming off. And then he is inside the ship, but he's running towards the hyperdrive to insert the crystal. I wanted to add speed lines, but I actually forgot. So I decided to just leave it. But yeah, also found this design of this spaceship interior. All the inspiration was from ArtStation, but I also added some of my own elements. I had to draw a lot of these corridors for a comic I did for a client. That's why I didn't have such a hard time drawing this because normally this would be pretty tricky. But yeah, this one came out really cool. Rush. And then the last one is fire. This one I had no idea what to draw. I wanted to maybe draw the hyperdrive being on fire or something like that. But I just decided to draw something that will sort of end off this little arc that my character or the courier took. And basically it's that hyperdrive is in and it's all fired up and ready to go. Not the best idea, I know, but yeah, I wanted to draw him getting into hyperspace and he's back on his track, back on that whole story of him delivering stuff. And that's where the comic's going to continue. So yeah, this one, I had him pushing the hyperdrive lever and I did this whole part in black and then I used a white Posca marker to do all these lines. Yeah, it came out pretty cool. I actually like this one a lot. Strong finish. And yeah, that's 31 drawings. Well, 30 technically. But yeah, definitely didn't go that bad. Alright, that was it for Inktober 2023. If you liked any of the images or you think the story is cool, I'll be publishing a comic about this whole adventure. It's called The Courier. I'll add links to the description if you want to pre-order or check it out. Alright, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.